Well, super excited first and foremost to have Rami on with us today. Rami's somebody who really kind of takes direction and runs with it in terms of coaching in this business. I think it's somebody who, when we look at those reasons why we do and why we don't hire people, so to say, Rami does kind of become like a prime candidate of coachability, just kind of blind faith, doing what he's told, running with it and kind of learning in like the process. Came in part-time, loves helping people, worked in the medical industry for some time and was actually going to be a doctor. Decided to kind of drop all that in med school in the midst of it and join the insurance, business. With that being said, being part-time, Rami quickly found that this was the right path for him and he could still help people. So every full year Rami's been here, which has now been 2, this year will be 3, probably next week Rami will hit Hall of Fame when week 1 comes out. So 3-time Hall of Fame producer, killing it, shows up every day, doesn't complain, does what he's supposed to do. So super excited to have you on, Rami.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on today as well. So just to touch base, guys, a little bit about myself. So I've known Marisa and Christina for quite some time, guys. I'm from Boston, lived in Mass, so I was about 13. I moved overseas, for those who don't know me. I lived in Beirut, Lebanon for a bit. All I can say is living outside the United States definitely helped me, grow in this business as you kind of see what the world really is, to be very frank and blunt. I came back here back when I was 18. I was independent. I was here by myself for about 5.5 years. Went to college here, went to university, got into medical school, wanted to become a PA, became a PA, and then I started to become an MD, connected back with Marisa and Christina. And before I joined the business, I was still in the hospital. Now, guys, when I tell you this, I would literally see Marisa work every single night, and I was kind of confused. I was like, what is this business? I was like, what do you do? Every time I'd ask her, what do you do? What do you do for work? She would say, I own an agency. I own my business. My always follow would be, okay, so you own your business, you own your agency, tell me about it. Guys, in the beginning, as a new agent, which many of you guys I'm sure are, I was a little timid. I didn't really understand it fully. I was like, what is this? Never did sales before. Push comes to shove, I'm like, you know what? Let me try this thing out. I'm working in the hospital, guys, 40, 60 hours a week. I really want to make sure that I can, provide for my family. And I'm seeing all these crazy numbers. It was back on Instagram, we could post how much we made. No families, it was straight dollar amounts. So seeing these dollars, I said, hey, I know my ability. I think I have high self-efficacy. I just believe in myself. I know my self-worth. So I went after it. Right at the beginning, guys, I moved fast. I broke things. And I pretty much just came in the gate part-time, full-time. And now I've been here the past 3 years, guys. It's been a blessing.
You can take over. You can run this call. So not into it. Rami, so the first year that you came in here, how many months were you in that first year? You said 6 months?
First year, about 6 months, yeah. And I came in July 17th of 2021, if I'm not mistaken. The home of the year.
And when you came in, you were director, Marisa?
Yeah.
Okay. And what type of leads were you working when you first came in here?
Final expense and mortgage mail, final expense online, instant internet leads were huge for me back then, and a lot of mortgage mail.
One of the biggest things that I hear when people first come into the business, they go, I don't know what to do, or I want to learn all the products. And, a lot of people, they're a little hesitant to get on the phone because they think they need to know everything. What is it that you did in the beginning, that first 30 days that you think helped you, see success so quickly?
Yeah, so just like Marisa said, I kind of had blind faith, Mike. And guys, I'll tell everyone on this call, new or not, if you're not 110% invested in this business, get invested, get obsessed. One thing about me, guys, I like what I do, and I'll be honest about that. I like helping people. I like meeting people. I love going face to face. I was in home primarily, guys, the last 2.5, 3 years. I just went full telesales about 5, 6 months ago. What I did though is I really moved fast and I broke things. So I took Marisa's advice. I listened to the mentors above me. And I grabbed my script. I still have it to this day. The same exact script I was given with all the same annotations on it. To this day, I still read it, guys. I have a script and I was told, hey, grab a stack of leads and call them. To this very still day, I still have the very first stack of leads I got. Now, I'm not organized. I'll be very honest. I can be more organized, so maybe I should not have the same stack of leads next to me. But the point was, guys, I bought leads, or I was, given leads in the beginning. I didn't invest right away. We said, here's a stack, call them. Guys, I had no idea the age they were. I didn't know what kind they were. All I knew was age, mortgage strip, and they bought a house. Call. I would read it, guys. And you'd be surprised. I booked 15 appointments my first day, guys. All I did was I got after it. I actually just listened to the coaching. I didn't just say, hey, I'm going to call and now not watch YouTube video and not do training, or if Mike's your upline, I'm not going to just not talk to Mike, not to the colleague, not to the Dom or Frank. I actually reached out 24/7 to Marisa and Christina. I actually probably got them really, really annoyed. I wouldn't doubt it. I would literally ask anything and everything because I understood, guys, that the one who asks the most questions wins in the home and with your upline. Because at the end of the day, our managers and mentors did it before us, right? They can tell us exactly where to walk. So I'm not going to step in the same pothole Marisa did. So long story short, she told me what to do, and that's what I did, Mike. I literally put my head down and I got to work. And thankfully enough, I didn't have a long learning curve where I kind of saw, the business pretty fast. And ever since then, it's numbers, guys. Numbers are numbers. If you can track something, you can make it predictable. Make something predictable, it's very easy to be successful in.
What did your schedule look like, and how much were you spending? Let's talk about that first month.
My first month. So the first month, guys, I was working every single day. And I mean that. So I was working, guys, full time in the hospital. That was 7:00 a.m. until 4 p.m. At 4 p.m., I would get out of work, I would grab the leads, and I would call them for the very next day. I would book the next day, let's say it's a Tuesday, for 5 p.m. moving forward. That's the only time I was able to, go to the appointments. During my off day, which was a Wednesday, I treated that like my Monday or Thursday. So I mimicked the FL schedule to the extent it works. And just because my Monday wasn't off, didn't mean that on Wednesday I don't dial all day to book appointments for Thursday evening. My lead spend in the very beginning, I was told have 100 brand new leads for each dial day. So every single dial day, I made sure I had 100 brand new leads. No, did I mean like BPLs? No. To this day, I don't have a single BPL, guys, not one. All I did was go into ILC, buy instant, buy 1 month old internet, buy 1 month old mortgage, and continue to work those. So my spend was probably, I'd say, $500 to $1,000, I would say, my very first lead order. And I did that consistently every week. I'm not gonna lie, first month, probably $2,500 a month, 500 every single week, maybe an extra lead order. But once I saw the return, guys, I had no problem really spending that money. I was always told, guys, if you're scared to write a $5,000 check, you're gonna be scared to write a $10,000 check. You're not gonna know how to write that $10,000 check until you've actually written that $5,000 check. So until you spend that money, you're not gonna know how to make that money.
For everyone that's new on here, and again, I can see some names on here that are just BPL was in the old day, we could lock out a particular county and it was buy per lead. So that's what he's talking about. And those did get pretty costly, but those of us that wrote a lot of business, we all were on that type of lead program. I mean, we were paying, I remember my leads at one point were $80 a lead, and I had a couple of counties locked out. When he's talking about the ILC, he's talking about going into the back office through Family First Life, and you can buy leads directly through Family First Life's CRM. There's leads in there for a quarter, 50 cents, 75 cents. There's a million different lead options in there. So you had leads locked out in particular areas. And then what other type of leads were you purchasing, Rami, in the beginning?
Yeah, internet leads primarily. In the beginning, I didn't have anything locked out, guys. So just to make that clear, in the very beginning, nothing locked out. It was strictly just buying, like Mike said, they were called cherry pick, the CRM, now the target lead center. I was just buying aged mortgage. I was buying internet, instant internet with beneficiaries. I was buying, back then they were in titanium and platinum. They're just 1 month and 2 month old. So I was buying aged, a lot of aged male guys. Mass, in my mind, is a male driven state. So I was working a lot of aged mortgage, Mike, a lot of aged final expense mailers, in instant internet with beneficiaries.
Got it. When you finally quit the hospital and you came on full time, what did that schedule look like? What days were you working, and what your hours look like each day that you were working full time with FFL?
Yeah, all day, every day, 24/7. And I mean, like, guys, all day, every day, 24/7. I adapted the full-time schedule on Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But as you guys will all see in this business, once you're actually writing business, it never stops. Every single day there's something. There's either an agent you need to talk to, a fire you have to put out, a client that's complaining, something needs to get done. And we always say you want to have IPAs, income producing activities, which means you want to always stay. One client told one day, Mike, to sharpen my pencil. And I was very in the beginning. I was talking to the mortgage. He had a $2 million house. He had a bunch of insurance in place. And I wasn't educated, too much on the insurance industry back then. So he's sitting down with me and he's like, listen, I want to purchase this, but you have to go back and sharpen your pencil. You can ask Marisa this. I came back to the house. I was so pissed off, guys. If someone tells me that, I'm not the type of person to kind of listen to that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, you're telling me to know more. You better explain to me how I have to know more. But overall, what that showed me was, in the beginning, I wasn't putting in the work. I wasn't educating myself. I didn't understand certain, like, you don't have to know products, guys, but term is term. Whole life is whole. Don't get the two mixed up, right? It's not that difficult. Once you understand what they are, then you understand, okay, this is how I can produce. So what I started doing, guys, I made my car a rolling university. I would always plug in podcast, guys, the Next Level Live, that you talk. It sounds cliche and the same thing, the same message, but that's the point, guys. Nothing is for me special, truly. I'm not different than you guys. Sure, I may be a little bit more blunt. I may talk faster than all of you, but outside of that, there's nothing that makes me special or different. All I did is, again, I went in my car, I listened to the YouTube videos, I got my mind right. Every single day, Marisha told me, look in the rearview mirror and tell yourself you're the only person that can help that family. I did that, guys, constantly. You have to talk yourself up, kind of fake it till you make it, especially in the beginning as a new agent. If you don't know what you're doing in the beginning, at least pretend like you do, because confidence can go a long way. That's another thing I did in the beginning, guys. I was very confident in myself. So what I did, Mike, again, I know I'm repeating myself, going down a rabbit hole, but I would, study the game. I would just, look into my uplines, talk to people, have bigger groups, see what they're doing. After every appointment, I would call Marisa, call Christina, see what I'm doing. And I constantly made sure that I was doing something that produced income, whether it be purchasing leads, whether it be, looking into more information about certain products, calling the carriers, hiring a staff. I always knew in the beginning I had to make sure that I was on top of my game to produce the most income.
When you went full time into telesales, what did that look like for you? What do you think that was more difficult, or was it easy to be able to do coming out of the field and then going all telesales?
All right, so I'll be very truthful. Now, to me, it's different. It was easy for me. Now, it's not saying it's easy, guys, but for me, my transition, it was. I used the same thing, guys, over the field into the phone. My in-home, I copied it over the phone. I didn't change anything else in the credentials, tonality. Have to make sure, I'm not talking as fast and the client can actually understand me. But outside of that, guys, I just took my in-home, my role and purpose. I set the table. I make sure they understand who I am, what I'm there to do. I make sure they understand that I'm going to find something that's affordable, that they can qualify for. And I explain it. And I always tie it back to that need, guys. As long as you're tying it back to that need, you're going to be able to make the sale. And in the beginning, that's what I did. But I'll be honest, I was fearful, Mike, of telesales. I didn't enter telesales for a very, very long time. I think I prolonged my, the telesales game for quite some time, for more than a year. I really thought that I couldn't do it on the phone. I said that, hey, you know what? I like the field too much. I call somebody and I'm telling them, hey, you sound stupid right now, sir. You're telling me that if you died right now, your wife's not going to miss your income. I thought they would hang up on me. But the truth, guys, is not. People like people who are blunt. They understand that directness is actually transparency. If you're being transparent in the home, especially in our business, it goes a very long way. But my learning curve was short, to say the least.
Around here, something that they can use now. There's a ton of aged mortgage leads in the ILC that people can buy. Let's do some role playing so people that are brand new can go into the ILC. They can pick up some $2 leads, $3 leads, whatever, and show them how they can close the amount of business that you're closing off of those old leads. Because I know you close a ton of aged mortgage protection. What's the typical age of the leads that you've bought in the past and had success with?
About a year or 2 years, guys. I like age, retro lead. In
Wait a minute, did you said 2 years old?
Yeah, 2 years.
I had someone on here. They were asking me about leads, and they thought 9-month-old leads were old. So you're closing 2-year-old leads. Let's talk about that, because I think those leads in the ILC are 50 cents, right?
Yeah, they're $1.50 to 50 cents.
$1.50, $2. Let's go over a script on how to buy a $1.50 lead and what that looks like and how you can close sales off a 2-year-old lead.
Sure, let's go ahead. Ring.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Hey, Mike, it's Rami, Hamady. I'm quickly getting back to you regarding your mortgage. I want to do Main Street Rocket Mortgage. Now, I'm trying to get back to you regarding your request that just came across my desk as a final resolution. It was regarding your mortgage protection programs that was not explained to you upon closing. Remember doing that, correct?
No, I don't. Must have been a long time ago.
It was probably a few years back. Mike, what this was, it was a letter that came to the house. It was in the event you became sick, disabled, or unemployed, or God forbid you passed away. It was to make sure your family was protected. Do you have anything in place right now that, God forbid, if you were to die, that your family is going to be able to pay off the mortgage?
Yeah, I have some work insurance.
All right, Mike. Well, unfortunately, work insurance is good while you're working. Now, if you did become sick or get laid off, but most importantly, you hit your age of retirement, it's going to go away. Most homeowners, they want something private, independent. I do have your age as 54 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And the amount of the mortgage is 100,000.
That sounds about right.
All right. Mike, are you a smoker or a non-smoker?
Non-smoker.
Do you have any major health concerns at this point in time? Have you had any heart attack, any stroke, any cancers?
No,
Okay. And are you still working, retired, disabled?
I'm working full time.
All right, full time like most. And like you did not list on the form, but you're currently married, single, divorced, or widowed as you left your spouse portion blank.
I'm married.
Married. Okay. And the wife as well, non-smoker and in good health.
Correct.
I'm very happy to hear that. Now, Mike, most importantly, when you made this request a while back, what was your biggest concern? Who are you looking to protect? Most homeowners make this request for a couple of reasons. Mike, they just want to make sure, God forbid, they died, that their house is paid out for the family. But most families want to make sure if they get sick or disabled, they have an income that comes in to replace their own income, or a combination of the two. Which one do you fall under?
So to make sure if I pass away, the house is paid off for my wife.
I understand, Mike. So again, my name is Rami Hamady. I'm just the field underwriter at Township File. My job is real simple. Just takes me 15 minutes to get that information out to you and show you the programs you may qualify for. Now, that being said, they're going to have you wrap up with a handful of families down in your county on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, we do our appointments typically virtually over the phone or via Zoom. Do you have a certain preference, Mike? Zoom conference call or via phone?
Phone is fine.
Phone, perfect. Do me a favor, Mike. Grab your pen and paper. Just going to tell you my first name, my last name, my phone number.
Got it.
All right, perfect. Now, Mike, as I mentioned, wrapping up on Tuesday and Wednesday. What time are you and your spouse home together on a Tuesday or Wednesday?
Usually by 7 o'clock at night.
All right, I have a 7. What I can do is I can squeeze you in between appointments around a 7:30 or 7:45. What time works best?
7:45.
All right, all I kindly ask for, Mike, for a 10-15 minute window on either side. Just depends on the homeowner before you continue your appointment to have a couple extra questions. If it takes me longer to qualify them, I may give you and your wife a call 15 minutes earlier. I may call you 15 minutes late, okay?
That was easy. Let's go over the tough things that will come up. What do you say when someone says that was a long time ago and I already took care of it?
I take a picture, I send it to them. When they say it's a long time ago, I take a picture of the form, I send it back to them. They took care of it. I say, perfect, Mike. Now, your file's still open for review. It's my job as the main underwriter just to review the file, make sure in the best rate class possible. If you are, we're not going to touch the policy. We'll keep it as is. But most families, because rates do change and policies do evolve, they want to make sure it's in the best policy possible. Do me a favor, go grab a policy for me.
Got it. What do you do when they say they just say I don't remember doing it?
That's when I'll take a picture. I say, okay, Mike, you don't remember receiving a postcard in the mail a little while ago. It might have been pink or white in color. You had put down your date of birth as August 5, 1991. You put down you're not a smoker. And again, it was the form that in the event you became sick, disabled, or passed away, that your loan would be taken care of and paid off for your loved one. Does that ring a bell?
I think it does.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to verify the information you provided so I can work with the proper options for you. Again, I have your date of birth as, I have your address as.
I'm looking in the ILC right now. Now this is for the entire country. There's 19,000 mailers 2 to 3 years old. They're $2. There's 6,700 $3 leads. They're a year to 2, and then gold is 120 days to a year. There's $7. I mean, there's a ton of this old stuff in there. The new agents that you guys have coming in, how many of them do you have that are buying these older leads?
All of them, guys. And the reason my mindset behind that, and like you know what retro lead is. So a retro lead, guys, is a lead that a house has been owned for 2 to 3 years. And all that means is they pay more money, they might have done some renovations, higher equity, which means you probably want to protect it more, right? There's a higher chance according to the numbers. Now, why would I want to go, like you can get those guys for a crazy cost. I mean that $80, $90, $100 plus, where you can go into the ILC or even get age mortgage, right? And you can call them. It's the same exact lead type because they own the house for 2 years, did the same work, they paid down the same payments. The only difference is now, guys, that you have to just turn curiosity into intent. So now me, instead of paying a $90 lead, I'll buy a bunch of $2, $3 leads, and I'll get the result as if I bought a $9 lead. Because, guys, there are still retro leads. They've had the house for 2 or 3 years. So I highly recommend a lot of agents to go on age mortgage. It definitely will help boost your annualized premium and your overall persistency. You know, they work. People don't really like to cancel things that they need.
Wow, these leads, these bronze for $2. How many would you give me a conservative number? Will you close on 100 leads?
Bronze out of 100, and I talk to all 100. You're saying?
No, just you're not going to talk to all 100. But how many would you close out of 100?
If I call out 100, I'd probably close 20 of them. I would say at least 20, 25.
No, give me a conservative number.
Yeah, that's conservative, Mike. I'm not joking. That's conservative.
But 100 of them is $2, and even if your premium was only 1,000, you're telling me you can spend $100 and do 20,000 in premium?
Yeah, just like how you saying agents. Yeah, he's right. $500 in the agent insurance, same thing, guys. A mortgage lead, guys. Time is time at the end of the day. Keep in mind that it leads someone who needs help. It leads a family. Now, am I gonna have to bang my head against the wall for a few of those leads? I'm sure I'm gonna. Are some people going to tell me to screw up and hang up on me? Yes, but at the end of the day, guys, if you're able to keep the mindset and you're able to keep pushing through them and treat them like you paid $100 per lead, you're not gonna let the client just hang up on you when they say that, hey, you know what? I don't need this anymore. I'm not interested. They made the request at one point in time. Now, if you want to go a little more conservative, let's say 15. But in all reality, guys, if you get them on the phone, 1% of people who've received these mailers in the mail send them back in. So if you're telling me 100 people get those and 1% send them back in, and you're probably 1% you don't need anymore, you're not interested, I find that very hard to believe. It's more they're scared to be sold or,
Every month.
sorry?
Spend on leads every month.
14K. I spent a lot of guys on leads. Yeah,
All right, so
14.
you're no longer working just these, then you got all brand new stuff coming in.
I have to, exactly, correct.
Got it.
Telesales, you have to increase your ad spend, your lead spending, guys, in telesales, as you guys know. Telesales, if I'm calling more states, it's outside of Mass. If it only was Mass, would be great.
And what did you issue last month?
Last month was 62,000. It was a low month for me.
Every person that we have come on here, they're all this, everyone's the same. They work a ridiculous amount and then they just spend the money on leads and not afraid. I mean, it's what it comes down to.
Exactly. That's the only difference. Whoever spends the most and talks to most people is going to have the most, guys. It's common sense. If I buy more baseballs and I take more swings to somebody else who has less baseballs and less swing attempts, who's going to have the chance of hitting more home runs? Your baseballs are leads, and us swinging is making those reps on the phone and getting in front of people. And when you get good at something in this business, I call it cracking the code. Once you crack the code, guys, everyone here should be a 60 family producer. The only thing you guys need to understand is, like Mike said, investing in yourself, not being scared to have a large lead bill. You know, Dean always comes on, he talks about his lead bill. He understands spending leads is going to bring you more income, more ROI. And then you can start playing around with certain things. But as everyone knows, guys, spend money in this business. It's a business. McDonald's didn't become a $1 trillion company by not spending money. Keep that in mind.
$2 a lead. Frank, what do you got for Rami?
Say it again, Mike.
So what do you got for Rami?
I mean, it's simple. I love everything he says. I think a lot of y'all are probably looking at Rami like, you know, screw you, because when he goes 62,000 is a low month. But I think the fact that he's stuck with what he's doing so long, that it's truly that simple to him, that's our goal for all of you. And the problem is, a lot of y'all quit on yourselves before you get to that point. And Rami, how many times did you want to quit when you started? I mean, I wanted to quit 100 times.
Oh yeah, 1,000 times. Even to this day, Frank, I still want to quit sometimes. But sometimes you gotta, put the blinders on and get back to work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's not the danger, but the challenge for me is if I was new and I heard what you said, I'd be like, there's no way in the world I could do that, right? So can you dumb it down for some of us or some of the newer folks and go, look, here's where I started, but how I got to this level was these 3 steps? Because we used to have, Rami, a sheet that had $100 a week investment. It would get you this, 200, 400, 800, 1,000. And the goal obviously is to get to 1,000 plus a week, maybe 3,000, 4,000. So you can do 60, 70, 80 grand a month. But can you walk them through that process from a tadpole to a full-fledged frog to where they're doing 50, 60, 70 grand a month? Or if their goal is to do 20, 30, how they can do that and feel confident about it?
Of course, 100%. So guys, first and foremost, it's always going to come back down to what Frank just ended with. What do you want to get from this business, right? Do you want to become a 20, 30 fan producer? Do you want to hit 50, 60 families? You have to find what you want from the business. Now, we all want to make money, right? But you have to have a why first and foremost. So in the beginning, guys, I found my why. I really made it intentional before I entered it, guys. I left a full-time job. Like I left things I went tons of years of schooling into blindly, but I had to know that, all right, this is what I want to do it for, and this is the reason. So I had my own why, but most importantly, guys, schedule. You need to have a schedule. If you do not block off your timing, you don't have a schedule, you can have all the leads in the world, you can have all the skill set. It doesn't matter. If you're not applying yourself, right, then it's going to go by the wayside. So first thing is get a schedule. How I did my schedule, guys, like I said, the full-time schedule for me when I was in the field face to face was Monday call all day long from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. until I booked 16 appointments over the next 2 days. Now in telesales, you guys want to kind of put a 3 times number on that just for the sake of no-shows. I'm not going to sit here, guys, and tell you that I don't get no-show over the phone. I get no-show just like you guys do over the phone. The only difference is I have more appointments. So if I do get no-showed, I'm on to the next. So I would say, guys, you want to aim for 15 appointments every single day. Now, let's say you don't hit that number, guys. That's okay. This is the worst you're going to be, right? Every day you're going to get better. Identify what you're doing wrong is the second thing. So first is going to be schedule, right? You want to make sure you understand this is when I can dial. This is when I'm able to call my appointments or do one call closing. On top of that, you guys really want to identify how you can increase your income in your income producing activity, right? AKA just by schedule by inducing leads. You want to, guys, have leads every single dial day. Now, I know not all of you are going to be able to spend 500 to 1,000, which I highly, highly encourage you to, because we all know the numbers in. That is going to get you to 15, 20K the fastest by spending the 500 to 1,000 every dial day. Now, is that a commitment? It is, guys, but I highly recommend doing that, or at least 100 brand new leads every dial day. Even, guys, if it's 100 of those bronze mailers. The point is you're putting skin in the game, and you're actually going through and you're doing work. You don't want to sit and call the same stack over and over again because you're going to go crazy, especially as a new agent. So practical thing, guys, 100 brand new leads. That way you're not seeing the same name. It's psychology. On top of that, guys, you really want to make sure that you're being coachable, reaching out to your uplines, right? Reaching out to the people who actually have done it first. Because, guys, again, I'm going to say this over and over again, I'm just Marisa in the guy version. That's all I am. I took literally copy and paste what Marisa does, and I applied it to myself. That's all I did. All of you should find that one person you stick to in the business, copycat them. It's a copycat business. The best copycat wins. And I really mean that. Join the Zoom live dials. Sorry. You guys want to join the live dials. You guys want to begin to hear how they're presenting. That way you can have the same objections, the same rebuttals, and the same presentation, right? Because the only difference, again, is when you're doing the work, putting in the reps, and you're doing the right training, it's going to work out. But if you're a new agent talking to a new agent, how do you know if you're doing anything right? Right? It's like a rookie training a rookie trying to become a veteran. That's not how that's going to work. Two rookies together will not become a veteran. You're going to have to, again, go reach up and out, as I call it, and plug in, guys. The main thing that I did, guys, is I plugged into all the trainings. I plugged in, guys, to all the Zoom calls. I constantly made Family First Life my environment because I understood that making FFL my environment is going to get me where I want to be. It's going to get to my goals. It's going to get me to my future. I know these are all sound very cliche and they're redundant, but schedule, guys, is key. Keeping high activity, right? Basically, having resources and then having a good attitude and a good mindset. Don't take the highs too highs, guys, lows too lows. I know me saying 60 families is a bad month for me, and you're probably like, if Mike said screw off, but guys, know all of you can do that. And I just say that to myself because I have to keep my A game at all times. If I don't tell myself that's a bad month, my numbers are gonna get less and less and less. I need to remind myself that I'm better than that. I need to tell myself that I'm worthy of everything that everyone has in this world that I can have. So can all of you. If you can truly adopt that mindset, I promise you that you will see that. And that's one thing, guys, in the beginning. When I first went to convention, and then everyone better register for convention. I mean that. If you're not, you're crazy. You're not going to be here next year. But what I did see at convention, people walking on stage. When I was part-time, I was able to hit Hall of Fame. The people that were there, I literally was like, why can't I not do this, right? How come I can't, be the next Hall of Fame agency? Why can't I be the one that's saying they're going to retire their mom? I took that and I kind of applied it to myself. And I know it might have been a long-winded answer, but that's, the kind of taboo to full-blown fish analogy for you guys. That makes sense, guys. I'm sorry.
Perfect sense. Dude, my favorite thing you just said was this is as bad as you're going to be. And I think if you're brand new, every day you wake up, you say that to yourself, dude, it's so refreshing because that means tomorrow is going to be better. And then the next day is going to be even better. And that's the small little mental tricks you play on yourself with yourself to get you through the early days where you feel like you're never going to be better. Nope, you were better today than you were yesterday, and you're going to be better tomorrow than you were today. So I love it, Rami. Thank you, man, for sharing. This is great.
Just wondering what your nickel was last year you hit Hall of Fame with.
Last year, 640.
Do you hear it, Garen? He sent me a private message. Garen, 640.
Yeah, hopefully this year tracking 1 million, but I don't know if I'm gonna hit it, but I'm tracking. Hopefully.
1 million.
I bet you'll hit it.
I hope so.
Marissa said we don't do hopefully. You're going to hit it.
Exactly. I'm gonna hit it. Manifestation, guys. Manifest.
That's right.
Go.
We had
All right,
155 on. We got down to 137. Those I can't do math in my head. So how many people's that? 17, 18 people. They jump off because they thought they were going to get something more than they got. I know in the beginning I always thought that. I thought someone when they came on to train, I was going to get this like profound statement that was going to change my life. And then when people hear schedule, work hard, buy leads, they're like, "Oh, this is bullshit," and then they're off. You know, they're waiting for that one magical thing, and it doesn't exist. It does not exist. You know, Marissa, you got anything for him?
I think one thing, Rami, you're really good at is being able to connect with people both over the phone and in home, and you've proven that both ways. What's one thing that you feel like you thought you couldn't transfer from in-home to telesales that you realized like, hey, it wasn't as deep as maybe you thought it was?
Yeah, so I thought the bedside manner aspect, I want to be able to transfer guys. Actually, again, I thought my directness and like how I talk to the client inside the house, I thought I wouldn't be able to transfer that over to the phone. But no, guys, again, all I did is I did exactly what I'm doing in the house over the phone. And it showed me that at the end of the day, a family's a family. Their lead that's a lead. They need help at the end of the day. And all you can do is connect with them, right? Make a little, kind of couple jokes here and there, but be direct and be forthright and say, hey, we're not joking around here. We're here for business. It really, guys, makes telesales much, much easier. And that was the biggest thing. I'm very blunt, guys. Now, I think you guys can kind of see he's a little direct, but I'm very direct at times, especially with my client. I have no problem telling them off. I have no problem pushing because I was always told you might have to push your client 15 different times until they finally understand what you're trying to relate to them. And it's not how you, it's like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I thought that, over the phone wouldn't translate so well, but it really did, guys. So I would definitely say everyone be very blunt. Don't sugarcoat it over the phone. Don't use like, I'm not gonna use the word, but don't be shady with your terminology. Just be very forthright. Hey, I'm an insurance broker. What are you doing today? We're gonna go over a few options. I work with about 15 top-rated companies. It's my job to go over the options and get you the lowest rate possible. In order for me to do that, I'll talk to you about a few things today. The mortgage, see how it's structured, how it's set up. Then your finances, because maybe you don't need this coverage. Maybe you need a little bit less. Every family I talk to, they want their whole mortgage covered, guys. But most importantly, I'm here to show you what you need. Does that make sense? They agree. Then you go into health, guys. Just make sure that whatever we talk about today, we're complete transparency because I want to make sure whatever I submit for you, I get you approved and not declined, which is strictly based on medications. Your job today is to help me help you. We all have a budget. Let's make sure that you put in place today, meet your needs and budget for your family, most importantly. And I say, guys, it's not like a grocery store. It's not like a loaf of bread you're liking to buy. You need to qualify for this. So most importantly, my job today is to submit the request for coverage. Once that's said, it's going to go to the insurance carrier. They're going to senior underwrite. Once they double check the policy and make sure it's in good standing, your application will be drafted and your policy will be deemed effective. Ready to begin? And I go right into it, guys. And that's just my role and purpose, pretty much. If you want to ask Marisa, it's her voice memo. She sent it to me. I memorized it. That's it. And I can send it as well. It's not that deep.
People are
Rami, I think
about the script. You could post. Can you post that in Discord? Everyone should be in Discord.
I got you guys. Yes.
Would you have?
Rami, I think one of the mistakes a lot of agents make between being in the home and on the phone is the speed of the appointment.
Definitely.
Not absolutely slowing down and doing it like you would in the home. Is there something, a trick or a system that you use to slow yourself down to make sure you are building that connection and doing it the same way you would face to face?
It's so funny you say that, Frank, because yes, so no joke, guys, every single appointment I've done over the phone, I've realized if it's under 20 minutes, I am not making the close whatsoever, not even remotely close. Not even to like an 85-year-old grandma who knows her last leg on like the insurance. She got 18 grandkids and they're all willing. No, it doesn't matter. What I've realized is that I have to, like Frank said, slow down, and I make sure, guys, with every question I'm asking, I'm taking a 10 or 15-second breath. Now, don't be awkward, have a pause, but I speak fast. I think you guys can tell I tend to mumble a little bit. So I realized I had to kind of slow myself back. I had to bring myself down a little bit and stay very monotone. And when I'm asking my questions, I'm asking it in this tone. I'm being a little bit more slower, and I'm asking important questions. Who is the person that's picking up the pieces today if you were to pass away? What does that truly look like for you and your family? Mary, if Bob did die yesterday, what does that look like for you today? Bob, you can't talk yet. You can't talk. You died yesterday. And I laughed it with them. And guys, I make sure that I'm asking the most questions, because the person who asks the most questions truly is going to win. So you guys are doing your inventory. Make sure it's everything. Did the loan officer explain to you what probate looks like if anyone were to pass away? Have anyone in your family ever been through probate court before? Are you familiar with probate? Do you know what that's even going to look like in the event of your death? Do you know how you're going to be buried, cremated, or funeral? Ask these questions, guys, not to be salesy, but to actually bring up the need, to point out to them that there's many different problems and we can provide many different solutions to their life. All you have to do is find that problem, present the solution. What do you guys have that acts as tax-free retirement? What do you guys have to protect you from market loss? What do you guys have today, or if you were to get diagnosed with a heart attack, stroke, or stage 2 cancer, aka invasive cancer, that's going to pay you upwards of $100,000 tax-free to pay off your loan or replace your income? What do you have today that if you were to, God forbid, pass away yesterday, is going to pay your family and your loved ones X amount of income to cover your final expense, burial, or mortgage? When you guys ask those questions properly with a thorough tone and let them talk to you, you'll realize you're going to be on the phone for 45, 55 minutes talking to them and trying to see, all right, now I see the why. And then, guys, no joke, any appointment 20 minutes less, I'm not selling it. Any appointment that's 45 minutes or on, I'm not getting off to about an hour 20, but the sales cemented. They're not charging back. My percentage, guys, is very high. I'm not going to sit here and talk numbers, but I think Rami's all here talking his numbers, but keep in mind, I don't have that many chargebacks because I'm just being straightforward. They're being very thorough. And I always ask at the end, I say, scale of 1 to 10, guys, can you rate me? How well did I articulate myself? How well did I clarify myself? And how well did I do my job? And then some people, I tell them, tell me a 7, guys. Be honest with me. I know I spoke too fast to you today. I know I didn't make this clear. So I can tell. You can tell, guys, when you're doing the good job. You can tell when you're kind of effing up a bit. And just be very blunt with them. But that's what I do. So I make sure to slow down a bit, guys, and ask the power questions and the tough questions. Think if that's your mom, if that was your dad, if that was your brother, if that was your loved one, what would you want them to be asked? What would you want them to truly understand about their life? Not about the product, not about the products, not about the CBOs, not about the IULs, but about how that can actually provide them financial relief. Clients don't want bullshit, guys. They do not want to hear you just sit there and talk about income and about how you can make more money. Some clients, like Mike said in the beginning, he just said, if I die. I gave him 3 options: sickness, disability, death. He just said, if I die. Focus on the need is the biggest thing I can say, and ask the proper questions.
Who's your carrier? Who do you write most of your business with?
Sorry?
Who's your go-to carrier?
I like America. America's my go-to. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
And he's at 89, 92% persistency. Going to hit $1 million this year, all mortgage protection. And you don't buy IUL leads, do you?
No, I do not. Not yet. I need to, though. I need to definitely start getting into that realm. I read IULs with my mortgage clientele, but no, I'm not targeting that
Any
demographic.
annuity businesses here?
Sorry?
Any annuity? Yeah, any annuities?
No, but I got a big one coming. No, but I got a big one coming. Funny story, guys. This is, again, where you should ask the stupid
Frankie writes
question.
that much business and no annuities.
No, yeah, listen to this, guys. Funny story before I let you guys go. I have a client. He literally gives me more than $20,000 of annualized premium every single month for his family, his wife, his kids. I have his whole estate, his whole portfolio. He sends me over like a sheet of all his insurance policies. He has other ones on there too. He's like, review them for me, make sure it's all accurate, policy numbers, the whole 9. I'm reviewing them, guys. He owns a ton of real estate. He's legit like a big mogul out here in Boston. I had no idea what this guy does with his money. I never once asked him. Please tell me, guys, why literally, as he's telling me to review the sheet, he says, by the way, do you do annuities? Do you know how stupid I felt, guys? Legit. Do you know how dumb I felt? I'm like, this whole time, I'm collecting all this annual premium, helping his family. I never asked how to protect his money. And he's sitting there thinking, how the F am I going to protect my money? And guys, if I asked that question 2 years ago, I guarantee you this year I'll be a Hall of Fame producer annuity. Now I'm starting to slowly get into it, and then I promise you I'll be Hall of Fame annuity 2025. It's just an easy thing to do, just ask that extra question. But that's a funny story. Never did. I left a lot of money on the table, to say the least.
I love it. Rami, I appreciate you being on tonight, man. You make things so easy, very simple. ILC, we showed the amount of leads that are in the ILC for $2 a dollar. And I think you made it very, very easy for everyone. There's like no excuses at this point.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you having me on today.
Thank you. Well, we'll see everyone.
Appreciate you, Rami.
Thank you, Frank. Of course, my friend.
See everyone next Monday. Let's crush it. Let's have a great week. Talk to you guys.